Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast, Saturday, December the 7th, 2024. Oh, Katie's here. Hi, Katie. Yay, what a show today. What a show. We're going to talk Eagles. I'm going to give you my predictions on the games tomorrow in the NFL. And first of all, we're going to talk a little bit, it's December the 7th. 83 years since Pearl Harbor, and 8 o'clock in the morning, over 2,403 American soldiers were killed that day. Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, the day that'll live in infamy, as FDR said. And I was reading a little bit about it. There are only 16 survivors left from the attack. 16. That's what we're down to. And every year it gets lower and lower. Guys die away. I think only one survivor is supposed to actually be there today in Hawaii at the Pearl Harbor Memorial for the service today. And guy who's coming in, I was reading about this, 104 years old. 104. Can you believe it? Picking him up at the airport. His family had a GoFundMe page to raise the money to fly him over to Hawaii. And it's interesting because he said he originally did not want to go. He did not want to go, but because he feels really bad, every time he goes over. He can remember. He still remembers what happens. December the 7th, 1941, and it had to be just horrific. 353 Japanese planes. Can you believe that? 15 of their submarines. 2 battleships. I mean, it had to be absolutely hell for our soldiers for what they went through there. So God bless the survivors. Only 16 left. God bless all those soldiers that we lost. And, it's a day we'll never forget, just like 9/11, right? So it's a day to remember and think about Pearl Harbor. Tomorrow is the anniversary of John Lennon. John Lennon, the Beatle, was killed back in 1980, December the 8th. Can you believe that's 44 years ago already? Oh my God. That's hard to believe. 44 years. I mean, you probably remember where you were when you heard the news. It's like, if you were alive when JFK was assassinated, everybody remembers where they were, what they were doing. It's what they call, in psychology, they call it flashbulb memory. You remember a certain incident so well that, most things that just come and go, daily things. You don't remember what you had for breakfast 2 weeks ago, right? But certain events are so etched in your mind that you can't forget them. And JFK assassination was one, and 9/11 was another. And John Lennon. I heard the news. You know what? I was on my CB radio. Yes, CB radio. And somebody said to me, "Wow, did you hear about John Lennon getting shot?" Oh, John Lennon. So I had, I had Monday Night Football too. And it was at the end of the game, and I'll never forget Howard Coase said, so he broke into the football game and he said, "We have some sad news. John Lennon was killed in New York City." And that broke the news. And I'll never forget how I felt, and I remember just waiting. You got to remember back in those days, back in 1980, there was no, really was no cable TV. Cable was just starting up. There was no internet. It's hard to believe, isn't it? The only way you could get information was from TV or radio. And they had Nightline on. And I remember staying up to watch Nightline, trying to get as much information as we could. And then what I did for most of the night, because I really couldn't sleep, I was just going around in the radio stations. And it seemed like every radio station was playing Beatles music, Beatles, in tribute to John Lennon. So, what a time, huh? 44 years, anyway. So, we remember John Lennon too. Well, let's talk about something happier. Let's talk about our Eagles, huh? Yeah, I'm all geared up there. Eagles play Carolina tomorrow, 1 o'clock, a rare 1 o'clock game at home. Eagles are now up to 13.5-point favorites for that game. Wow. Of course, Eagles should win that easy. Did you hear about this guy in Kentucky who bet $3.1 million on the Eagles to win? No points involved, just to win. $3.1 million. They said it's the highest bet ever on a single game outside of the Super Bowl for the players. 3.1 million. Now, what is this guy going to win? The odds aren't very good. The guy's going to win like $441,000, which is a lot of money to you and me. But for a guy who has that kind of money, $3 million to wager on a football game, it's not much of a return. He's not even getting half of his money back. But I guess he figures it's a can't miss proposition. Certainly the Eagles should win tomorrow. They have their eye on the prize, which is still the number 1 seed in the NFC. It's going to be hard to get there because now that the Lions won on Thursday against the Packers, the Lions would have to lose 2 out of their last 4 games, and the Eagles would have to run the table and win 5 in a row just for the Eagles to overtake the Lions, which probably is not going to happen. But, you still have your eye on the prize. You have to clinch the NFC East yet. So you get one of the 4 automatic buys for winning your division, which means an automatic home game. You got to try, to get Detroit here because, as I said, what a world of difference. If you could play the Lions in Philadelphia out in that cold weather, maybe snow, who knows, windy, it's going to go a long way to beating the Lions because the Lions they're going to play 14 of their 17 games indoors this year. So if you could get them outside, you have a better chance of beating. So we'll see. And the Eagles better win this game because they have some tough games coming up. I mean, they play the Steelers next weekend at home. The Steelers are a good team. They're not a great team, but they are a good team. And then they go to Washington after that. And it's hard to sweep a team in your own division. Washington is a good team. They should make the playoffs as well. So that's not going to be an easy game. The last 2 games, Dallas at home, the Giants at home, should be just put me out there for 5, 6 to 10 quarterback, we can still win. So, tomorrow's big game, just you got to win that game. And I think they will. The Eagles haven't crushed the team in a long time. You can't get careless and take this game for granted like they did when they played Jacksonville earlier in the year. Do you remember that? The Eagles got off to like a 22-0 lead, and then they let Jacksonville come back in the game. And actually, Jacksonville went ahead there for it and pulled it out. But they can't let that happen. Eagles need to put the hammer down, win this game. I think they are going to win something like 38-10, maybe something like that. I think they're going to crush it. My favorite bet tonight. How can you not play Saquon Barkley? It's almost ridiculous now because for a running back to rush for 100 yards is a big deal. It doesn't happen every game. But the odds are so crazy on Barkley, because he's got over 1,500 yards rushing so far. Chances are he's going to break Eric Dickerson's record over 2,000 yards game on the ground. He's still in the MVP hunt. And the last 5 teams, 4 of these last 5 teams that the Eagles play are toward the bottom of the league in rush defense. So Barkley should really add to his numbers. In fact, tomorrow, Carolina is the worst team in all of football defending the run. Barkley should have a heyday. The only thing to stop him, I think, is if Barkley, if they don't play him in the fourth quarter because the Eagles are ahead by so much. But, he always does a lot of his dirty work, so to speak, in the second half because he wears teams down. He's relentless with his power and speed, and teams just get tired trying to tackle him. And they wear down, and then he runs all over them in the second half. But I think the Eagles are going to start off strong tomorrow. They've got Barkley. A.J. Brown should have a good day because the Carolina secondary is nothing to shout about either. And Devontae Smith is back tomorrow. Dallas Goedert is out. He's got a knee problem, probably a couple of weeks. So, Eagles should have no problem too. Let's hope they don't have a problem. They still have problems getting off the fast starts. To watch that tomorrow. For some reason, they can't get off the quick starts. Now, they usually pick it up in the second quarter. That's what they've done the last few games. They really revved it up in the second quarter. But after that, they should roll it, Karen. Would I lay the 13.5? But I don't know. That's a lot of points. But if you really think the Eagles are going to win 38-10, the guy did, the 13.5 points is nothing, right? But there are other ways to play. Like I said, you could play Barkley over 100 yards. That's going to give you a pretty big payday. 120, you escalate it up to 150. The odds keep increasing. You could do that. You could play Eagles over team total. The Eagles are going to score in the 30s. So if you take Eagles team total over 30, that should bring you back some money. You could even play Eagles first half, which is half into 13.5. It's like maybe 6.5. Eagles first half, they should be able to cover that too, even if they get off to the start. I don't know. I wouldn't play Jalen Hurts passing because the Eagles might keep the ball on the ground. Even when Barkley's not running it, Kenny Gainwell will be wrong. So, I just think the Birds are going to crush him tomorrow. There's no reason why they shouldn't. Need to get after Bryce Young and really do a double on him. Now, before we talk about the other NFL games, I want to show you something that I found Hollyfield. And you know how I show you a picture of Bud every show, usually before we start talking? Because Bud is the patron saint of this beautiful podcast. And we can't forget Bud. We love Bud and we miss him. He did about 300 episodes with me. He was with me for 10 years before he passed away last April 11th. And now Katie and Coco are with. Thought that would be the cue for them to come in. No, not around. But we miss Bud. But look what we found. It's going to be it's the first Christmas without the Bud store. And look what we found here. Look, there he is. There's the Budster. It says Merry Christmas. It's a framed photo we had made. The bud's still smiling there. Look at his teeth. Huh? And Merry Christmas. There you go, Bud stuff. Yeah, we miss it. We miss that guy. Then I'm here to clock. Our clock chimes Christmas carols, which is nice. Um, yeah, you turn it off and it just boing, boing, boing after that comes. But for like a month, it's nice to hear it. It's nice to. All right, so let's look at these other NFL games real quick before I leave it for the day. Okay, we already talked about the Eagles. Uh, Flyers play today at 1 o'clock. They're up in Boston. They play the Bruins. That should be a good game. Sixers, who cares? They play tomorrow. What a pathetic organization. That they had to win yesterday because you play a team twice back to back within a couple of days. You split with that team. That's why the NBA it makes the schedules crazy like that to save on travel, and they know that chances are it's going to be a split. So I knew the Sixers would win last night, but you know, okay. So the NFL games, right? So we already said what we think's going to happen in that Eagles Carolina game tomorrow. What else do we have here? We have the Falcons and the Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 6. They're at home. Vikings should win that game. That Falcons might keep it close because the only reason I say that is because Kirk Cousins is going back to Minnesota. He hasn't been playing well. And he better get his ass in there because if he doesn't play well, they're going to replace him with this Michael Penix guy, the guy they drafted in the top 10, this young quarterback, left-handed quarterback, too. And the Falcons are still battling for their division, NFC South. So I would say Falcons are going to keep it close. Saints Giants. What a pathetic game, huh? Oh my God. Saints are favored by 5. Giants may be the most pathetic, worst football team in the NFL. And they could lose out. They could be 2-15 this year. There's Giant fans. I have some friends who are Giants fans. They are in mourning, real mourning this year. I mean, they stink. The best thing the Giants could do is try to get a quarterback in the draft, fire their coach, fire their general manager, which they've already done, and start over. What else could I say? But I like the Saints tomorrow. Alvin Kamara, an excellent running back, excellent game. Because the Giants are pathetic against the run. I would take the Saints. Titans, Jaguars, another losing game. Titans are favored by 3.5 at home. Who really cares about that? I mean, Doug Peterson is going to lose his job in Jacksonville sooner or later. If anything, I would take the Titans, although that's a stupid game to play. Raiders and Buccaneers. Buccaneers are favored by 6.5 at home. The Raiders lost a heartbreaker last week to the Chiefs. They should have won that game. And they let it slip away. Too many penalties, too many turnovers. I don't know. I mean, you would think Tampa Bay at home would win that game behind Baker Mayfield. It's a game I wouldn't play, though. But the Browns and the Steelers, the Browns haven't won in Pittsburgh in like 31 freaking years. 31 years. What the hell, right? The AFC North, cold weather, snow, always low scoring game, always close. So Pittsburgh is favored by 6.5. They're at home. But I might play the Browns because even the Browns kind of suck. They always play the Steelers close. Now, the Browns probably will win. The Steelers are good, but Browns keeping it close. Jets and Dolphins. There's enough. Isn't New York football great? You got the Giants and the Jets. They both suck. Isn't that great? I mean, New York had its day when they had the Yankees in the World Series and the Mets in play. Okay, but you got the New York football teams, but stink. Oh, what a great thing. Jets stink, Jets stink, Jets stink. And Aaron Rodgers may be out of a job. He may be looking for work elsewhere. I like the Dolphins because they still have an outside chance to get to the playoffs, and they're favored by 6. They should win it. Seattle and Arizona. Arizona's at home. They're a 2.5-point favorite. Well, these teams played 2 weeks ago up in Seattle, and Seattle beat them by 10 points. But Arizona was in that game all the way. I think Arizona's going to win, and they're going to cover. I don't think Seattle's good. I think Arizona is an up-and-coming team behind Murray, and I think that the Cardinals will cover. I didn't actually even think the Cardinals are going to win that Western Division and get into the playoffs. Good game, Bills and Rams. They're playing in LA. The Bills are favored by 3.5. Rams don't have a bad team. Any team with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Puka, you got to respect. But the Bills are playing really well. They're finally out of the snow, and they're playing indoors out in LA, sunny LA. And Josh Allen is just playing out of his mind. You have to go Bills. You have to go Bills. Hopefully the Bills aren't looking ahead. They're not taking this for granted. Because don't take the Rams for granted. Now the Rams could come up and bite you in the rear. The last 2 games, we got this Sunday. The Sunday late game. Bears at the 49ers. 49ers are actually favored by 3.5. How pathetic is that, huh? All these 49er fans whining last year and the year before about the Eagles. They could whine all they want. Yes, they have a lot of injuries out there, including Christian McCaffrey, who was out for the year. But the 49ers lost the Super Bowl last year. You know the old adage. The team that loses the Super Bowl hardly ever gets back to the Super Bowl again the following year. Sometimes they don't even make the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if this 49er team does not make the playoffs this year. They're playing like crap, and they have all these injuries. And the Bears just might beat them tomorrow. You never know. And then the Sunday night football game, this one should be a good one. Kansas City is at home at Arrowhead, 4-point favorites over the Chargers. The Chargers have a good team. Justin Herbert, good defense. It's a rivalry game. It's an AFC West game. I think the Chargers will keep it close at least. They might even beat the Chiefs out there. Chiefs have only lost 1 game this year, but they are the luckiest team in football. Every week they seem to win, but the other team screw it up. I think it's going to come back and bite the Chiefs sooner. And then Monday night, don't forget about this Cracker Jack game. Huh? You got the Bengals, pathetic, playing the pathetic Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And the Bengals, being the road team, are actually favored by 5.5. That is pathetic. Joe Burrow's playing like an MVP, but he has nothing around him. I mean, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are great receivers, but the Bengals have no defense. They're just pathetic. The Cowboys are even more pathetic. You got Cooper Rush quarterbacking for you. You're in trouble. I don't care if you have CeeDee Lamb. Actually, I think the Cowboys have a chance in this game, believe it or not. I think playing at home, I think they're going to keep it close. And I'm not to say I'm taking the Cowboys because I hate the Cowboys. You do what you want. But the Cincinnati Bengals, talk about a disappointing team. I don't know who's a bit more disappointing. Probably the Jets, because there were some people before the season, some delusional people, thinking the Jets were going to go to the Super Bowl or to win the freaking Super Bowl. No. But the Bengals have to be a disappointment too. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl only a few years ago, right? They played the Rams, and the Rams beat them back in 2022. What happened to the Bengals, huh? Jeez. So there's your card. Some good games. I mean, it's a good Sunday night game. After the Eagles are done playing at 1 o'clock. Some good games in the run. That Bills-Rams game should be a good. We'll see. Football is football, right? Week 14. Before you know it, the holidays will be over, and then we'll be into playoff mode. Yeah. Wild card weekend, the first round of the divisional playoffs, the division conference finals, right? The NFC, AFC finals, and then you got your Super Bowl in February. So a lot to look forward to. Hey, before I leave you today, Phillies. Phillies need to get it together. They've got an important week coming up, my friends. It's the winter meetings are starting on Monday. And this is the time of the year, hot stove, when teams make trades, teams lay the groundwork for future trades, and teams sign free agents. What are the Phillies going to do? They cannot run back the same team that they have. They've tried that already 2 times in the past, and it doesn't work. The team doesn't win in the playoffs. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Winning in the playoffs and getting to the World Series and winning the World Series. Because Bryce Harper's in his prime, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Trey Turner. This is when you have to go all in and win the freaking World Series. They keep talking about wanting to trade Alec Bohm. And at first I was okay with it since he really melded down in the playoffs. Now I don't like it because Alec Bohm is still relatively young. He's probably their best hitter. Why would you want to trade your best hitter? He makes contact. He doesn't strike out nearly as much as some of those other guys do. He's a decent third baseman. He can play first base for you in pitch. Why do you want to trade Alec Bohm? It's stupid. And from what I read, the Seattle Mariners are very interested in him. Well, sure they are. But the Phillies are asking for the move. They're asking for either Logan Gilbert or George Kirby, one of their 2 stud young pitchers. You can never have enough pitching. When people say, why do the Phillies need more pitching? They have Zach Wheeler, they have Aaron Nola, they have Christopher Sanchez. Andrew Pater's coming back this year, hopefully. Ranger Suarez. Why do you want pitching? Well, you can never have enough pitching. These guys get hurt, as we saw last year. And who are you going to fill in? Taiwan freaking Walker? You're hoping you can dump his ass somewhere. Somebody would be stupid enough to take it. So I don't mind them trying to get another pitcher. There's talk about them trading from Garrett Crochet, the young left-hander from the Chicago White Sox. That's good too. But let's not forget the Phillies need help offensively. They strike out too much. They try to hit home runs too much. They need a center fielder. Stop with this center field by committee stuff. It's not going to work. Okay? Johan Rojas is not the answer. He can't hit worth a lick. And they need a center fielder. Maybe try Justin Crawford. He's 20 years old. He's supposedly your leadoff hitter in the future and your center fielder in the future. Bring him to spring training and see what he's got if you're not going to trade him. So they have a lot to do. They got to rebuild that bullpen too. God knows how they're going to do that. That bullpen stinks. And they may be losing Jeff Hoffman, who's on the market now, free agent. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody steps in and snatches him up. So, and they have to rebuild the bench. The bench stinks. They need a backup catcher because, as we said the other day, JT Realmuto is getting older and he's not going to be able to play everything. So you need a consistent, somebody better than Garrett Stubbs. The best thing Garrett Stubbs can do is bunt. That tells you a lot. You need a more consistent backup catcher who's going to fill in for JT. So, yeah, the Phillies could use starting pitcher, but they really have other areas that they need to really concentrate on in order to get back to the playoffs, win the division again. Atlanta's going to be good this year because they get Acuna back and Strider. And, the Mets aren't going. And the Nationals have a young team that is on the up and coming. The Marlins aren't that good. So, the Phillies can't rest on their laurels. They have to improve. Dave Dombrowski, get off of your ass and do something. You haven't done anything for 2 freaking years. Okay. Even at the trade deadline in July, you didn't really help the team or improve the team. So do something. The fans want some hope that this team is going to be good enough to get back to the World Series. You are delusional if you think the Phillies have a championship roster right now. They don't. They showed you what they have in the playoffs last year when they choked like dogs, losing to the, I hate to say it, the freaking New York Mets. Still pisses me. Anyway, do something this week, Dave. Do something, okay? Maybe I'm gonna have to go to. I think they're meeting in Florida, Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know where the hell they're in Las Vegas. I think I'm gonna have to go out there and maybe kick some ass or something, and I can do it too. Send me out there. I'll make a bunch of trades. I'll shake these guys up. I'll say, look, now this fan base is loyal. They go out to watch you bums. We pay tickets. Over 3 million fans were out there last year. We are a loyal fan base, and we deserve to have a team to win the World Series once every 20 years or whatever. Before I cash my chips in, before I play my last hole on the golf course, before I kick my bucket, I want to see the Phillies win one more freaking World Series, okay? Dave Dombrowski, do it. So there you go. All right, so if they don't ship up after that, all hope is lost. So everybody have a great day, huh? Keep those soldiers in your heart that we lost at Pearl Harbor. Remember Pearl Harbor. And enjoy the game tomorrow. Go Eagles. Again, I say 38-10 Eagles. That's what I'm saying. And if I was a betting man, I would still put my money on Saquon Barkley because he wants to, no matter how much he doesn't say it, he wants that rushing record. It'd be nice for him to get the MVP, but we want Super Bowls. And the Carolina Panthers stink defending the run. All that recipe, you put it together there, you make a nice little cake, and it's Saquon Barkley, 150 yards of rushing tomorrow. You heard it here. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace and love. I'll be back again on Monday. We'll do our weekend in review. We'll talk about the Eagles' big victory. And I have a movie classic that we're going to talk about next week. Love doing these movie classics with you. We did The Wizard of Oz. We've done the Rain Man. We've done Hustler, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So we'll do another one next week, huh? And before, don't forget our Bud. Whoa. Upside down. There he is. One last look at my buddy. There he is. The monster himself. Merry Christmas, bud. All right, my friends, have a great day. Peace and love. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again on Monday. Bye-bye for now.